Hey, what's up? The V Club here, coming at you with another video. So here is what I am, the Villain Club. We talk about anything and everything. All right, nothing's off the table, and we just talk about, like I said, anything and everything. I just want to give you guys my thoughts on stuff I see out there that's going on, and more recently is a lot of stuff about the presidential election, which has come to pass. But just issues and stuff that we've been dealing with in life. And so, or just stuff, bullshit that I see out there as well. And so, without further ado, let's just get into it, all right? It's funny because you start seeing these news networks now, right? So, CNN, right, recently announced that they're cutting staff because they lost a lot of viewers ever since the election loss of Kamala Harris. All these liberal, left-leaning, networks, right, progressive networks, right, which is like CBS, NBC, ABC, CNN, those type of channels, right? They were all liberal, progressive, leaning left, you know, like far left, very extreme, calling, they'll go as far as calling Donald Trump, racist and Hitler and Nazis and all this other stuff, right? And, when it comes to, what's going on in America and all that, oh, yeah, everything's great, right? Everything's great. Kamala's the greatest thing ever since Obama and things like that, right? All kinds of stupid ass shit. And so that all changed because everything that these networks try to, I guess you could say, manipulate, right? And to making you think that everything is all about their ideology about things. People were just not falling for the bullshit and said, nah, we had enough is enough. We had enough of the illegals. We had enough of the crime. We had enough of inflation and everything costs so damn much. We had enough of all the crap from the Biden administration, all right? The wars across the seas. Um, and yet, them two here, Kamala and Biden, not truly doing anything about it, right? They opened the borders. They allow the conflicts to happen overseas. They cause the tension that goes on here in America with stupid shit like not really, yeah, Israel's our ally, but then, no, 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 we got to support those poor Palestinians, even though a terrorist organization is running their little mini country they got going on, the Gaza, right? And it's like it's preventing our ally Israel from getting the job done. They got attacked, they got provoked, and yet they can't fight back because U.S. is like bad mouthing them and saying, "Nah, you can't do that." So you can't play it both ways. Then they start causing all these things that are happening, right? The Iran with Hezbollah, continued attacks from Hamas, while Israel has their hands tied, they can't do nothing. Right? So it's stupid. And now, like I said, going back to the news networks, right? CNN laid off cutting a lot of staff. MSNBC has been talking about being up for sale, right? ABC with The View here is looking to do some cast replacement or maybe downsizing perhaps, right? Because now that viewership has gone way down on these left leaning liberal channels, it means less viewers. With less viewers, less advertisers. That means less money. that means that, oh shit, we got to do something about it. So these channels are starting to do something about it, right? They're saying, you know what? I think we're going to start looking elsewhere here. Maybe start reducing more staff. Maybe we should get back to basics. Actually, do some real journalism once again, real news once again, instead of just playing deep into, far left politics, which has been a losing battle now, obviously, because the progress of all that has shown. Look at over the last 4 years, right? That's evidence of no progress. That the country's been going backwards, all right? With shitty ass reporting, making it look like everything's okay, or justifying everything's okay. The open borders, with all the things that are going on, the crimes that they commit, the gangs that they're forming, all the giveaways that were given them, and then yet everything's good, guys. Everything's good, right? Happy, happy, joy, joy, right? Go for it's all about Kamala, and she brings joy to everything, right? You know, we're going to get rid of all our resources in light and in favor of the Green New Deal, right? Everything has to be battery operated, no more gas of anything at all whatsoever. So they're going to force us to pay more for electricity and pay more for expensive electric cars, all right, in order to be able to appease the Green New Deal policies, right? Of a nice environment and clean and all that. I was like, get out of here, this shit. Right? Think about it. What it's doing to America. What it's doing to the average American. All right? And so, again, the networks are watching this. They're like, man, something's got to change. And so, maybe they started looking and saying, hey, you know what? We got to do something here. Started talking to their, people saying, hey, you guys got to start shaping up or we're shipping you guys out too, right? That's why you started seeing the likes of, for example, Joe Scarborough and Mika, was it Mika? His wife Mika that does the Morning Joe show, right? Joe Scarborough was formerly a politician, considers himself still being a Republican conservative, even though he's on MSNBC and he's way left of conservative. Um, it's funny. Oh, Mika Brzezinski, I think is what her name is. Um, they actually met with Trump last Friday, all right, which they kind of just didn't really mention anything till yesterday, which is very interesting that they've actually, put up an olive branch to actually meet with Trump, right? Rather than be adversarial and do some shitty ass reporting like they've been doing these last few years, they met with Trump just to meet with, someone that you may not like, but at least Trump was open enough to meet with people that don't like him, right? And that's what people do, right? If you're a real person, especially in politics, you're going to be able to reach people that you like and reach people that you don't like, right? And it's a matter of maybe they might have a better impression of you after they meet you, after they see you. And that's what I feel that this has come down to with this whole Morning Joe thing meeting with Trump, right? That his opinions have changed a bit. And that's something that MSNBC definitely needs a little shot in the arm with that. And that's what they're looking at with these liberal channels, is that they got to be a little bit more centrist, I guess you could say, than what they are doing now, because obviously they lost viewers They don't want to go completely conservative. So their strategy is to kind of shift the needle back to the middle at least. That way they're at least on the middle ground of meeting conservatives halfway and still be able to pull people back in if they do fair and balanced reporting as they should be as media. Will they do that? Only time will tell. All right. So we'll see as time goes on. But to me, that really shows you something about what happened there. And of course, you're going to have perspectives like The View that's not going to like it. All right, with this whole Morning Joe thing. But The View is has a target on them right now because they're looking at the cast, and you got two people that's in the cast, Alyssa Farah Griffin and who's the other one? Anna Navarro, who's supposed to be that conservative, representation of the cast, which they really aren't. They're just very liberal as well. But Alyssa's finally kind of woken up out of her shell that she's been inside and actually sticking up for conservatives for a change and stuck up for the strategy of what Morning Joe did in meeting with Trump and all that. So it was very interesting to see that. Let me see if there's any other footage of that. If not, I'll just go check out that one. Alright. Maybe I'll just jump onto that footage here. Yeah, but before I do that, even AOC, by removing pronouns, alright, she's really either changing because she needs to change herself or she's going to lose people. And you can look at it two ways, right? It's a good thing and a bad thing. Good thing because maybe she's waking up. Bad thing, well, maybe she's just doing that strategically because she's trying to keep herself relevant in politics, right? So, it's the way it could just be a strategy. Just like when Kamala was always flip-flopping and Bernie Sanders justified it by saying, hey, you know what? She's just being pragmatic. She's just saying whatever it takes to win, but not really, standing by it, but just doing it just to do it, right? So, look at Joe Rogan here. F your trans kids. Oh, man. You know why? Because people are waking up. All right. It's funny how things are, but let's take a look at what this transpired here, right? And this is what should be happening, though. Whether you are friendly or adversarial,
so with that, we bring in Joey Jones, retired Marine
this
Corps Staff Sergeant.
Should be happening.
Wall Street Journal editorial board member. Both are Fox News contributors. And
if Trump is open to all media, which he is,
Secretary and co-host on Americano Media. Great to have you with us.
To me, that really shows.
Not all the folks.
That really shows that he's willing to work with anybody and maybe help change opinions of people. So I don't know. I don't see anything bad about that.
Out there on The View, shocking, and I'm sure we're so excited.
Well, of course,
The
View
this,
would have a negative perspective of that.
Watch this.
I will never sit with him. I don't think I'm going to have to. I don't think I'm going to have to make the decision.
I've heard a lot of folks
Nobody
on the
cares
left coming
bitch.
after Joe and Mika saying, don't normalize him. Well, 75 million plus American voters normalized Donald Trump by making him President-elect Donald Trump.
I don't think you need to sit down for 90 minutes at Mar-a-Lago and kiss his ring to be able.
She's going to always continue to be this sort of conservative, anti-Trump, and that's the way she's always going to be. Just like Whoopi's going to be the same thing too.
Able to speak truth.
Kimberly, I thought this was fascinating. I thought that the very scripted statement today by both Joe and Mika was also interesting, and how it played out. What do you make of all this?
Yeah, it's not kissing his ring to actually act like a journalist and decide to cover him, with neither favor nor fear. Simply treat him like he's any other president. Point out the good stuff, point out the bad stuff. I mean, it's been really good to see some of that change since 8 years ago. And I think one of the things the press has realized is not only has it undermined public confidence in the press as an institution, hurt a lot of these outlets, but that they aren't even helping the goals that they seek to help. And that if you look at what the press did this time around, the ceaseless hostility to Trump and the endless praise of Kamala Harris, all it did was allow Democrats to live in a fantasy world where they didn't change direction despite the mood of the country, and then they lost in a landslide.
Yeah, and Joe,
that was a wake-up call for the Democrats.
Another really important piece of this is that the American public did not care what many of these members in the media said. They made their own judgment, their own decision, based on what they wanted to change in their own lives in terms of who's in the White House.
At least people woke up.
Yeah, I think
that's the way it should
Sorry,
be.
that was for Joey. And Jose, I'll be right with you. Go ahead, Joey.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Listen, I think when you watch those clips of him at UFC, we talked about this on Fox and Friends Weekend all weekend.
Yeah.
There's a guy back there in the background of the group named Jelly Roll who took the absolute music industry by storm. And I don't know if he likes President Trump or not, but he doesn't care to smile and shake hands with him and take a picture with him. And he's like this ultimate redemption story. This is a guy that was in prison, is a drug addict, turned his life around, and now he's on top of the world. And I think to a lot of people in this country, that's what President Trump is. It's not that he's done something horrendously wrong, but it's his redemption story. He didn't win 2020, and he's back in 2024 more popular than ever, no matter what they've thrown at him. And I think people like Morning Joe see, hey, listen, if we continue to just throw things at this guy, we're going to ostracize ourselves, because you're not going to ostracize him. You're not going to turn the American people or their viewers away from him. If anything, they've turned them towards him. And I think some people just want to stay relevant.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a really rough time in the ratings. They have to try something different overall at these other cable channels. So, Jose, I'm curious what you think about this. Should all of these journalists, reporters, analysts sort of give a grace period and say, let's hope for the success of the new president and of the country?
No, how about this? How about actually be fair and balanced reporting for a change, Like, have perspectives and answers of, the pros and cons, the pluses and minuses of whatever it is that the topic is of that day, and not just be so anti-Trump of everything that he says and does, right? Like, the whole fear-mongering and the bullshit lies and all that, right, is just, it's blatantly stupid. And I'm tired of it. People are tired of it. And so, how about just letting Donald do the work, see the progress of the work or what he's maybe proposing, and then give your answer to that in a fair and balanced approach, instead of just, no, everything's bad, you can't do this, you're so racist, and it's like, it's a constant loop and cycle that's why people are tired of that shit, and that's why people get turned off by it. So that's what I think. Let's hear what Jesse Waters has to say, because he's usually pretty witty about what his thoughts are about these things.
I tell you.
And it's definitely, it says
Good
right
morning,
here.
Joe Bomb.
So, it says right here, what? Morning Joe visits Mar-a-Lago claiming it's time to do something different. Yeah, because the strategy of, Trump bad, the orange man's bad, it's just stupid, and it's really drawn out and ran its course, all right? because this whole thing about happy joy, Kamala's great, is stupid and did not win the election. $1 billion plus and nothing to show for. So, is it hypocritical? It, I just don't like the flip flopping and the script changing they're doing now. It should have just been fair and balanced this whole time, and they're only doing this to save their ass. All right, that's the only reason why they're doing what they're doing, and what many other people were doing that were so heavily left, leaning progressives, is they're doing it to save their ass. Let's hear what Jesse Wallace has to say.
Michelle, Joe and Mika are laying down their swords, announcing how they met personally with President-elect Trump at Mar-a-Lago, saying it's time to restart communication with the man they've smeared nonstop as Hitler for the past decade.
Yeah.
We didn't see eye to eye on a lot of issues, and we told him so.
Joe and I realized it's time to do something different. And that starts with not only talking about Donald Trump, but also talking with him.
A lot of Democratic leaders we've talked to this past week, since the election, have told Mika and me it's time for a new approach.
We know this will be a consequential presidency. The question is whether it will be constructive.
Don't be mistaken. We're not here to defend or normalize Donald Trump.
But boy, oh boy, did Joe and Mika stir up a beehive of angry liberals, some who were vowing to boycott. One top account says, F Joe and Mika, F Morning Joe. A current MSNBC host saying, normalizing Trump's a bad idea, period. And Keith Olbermann's threatening anyone who goes on the liberal network by comparing them to Nazi collaborators. As for The View, well, Sonny isn't so sunny about the whole thing.
I don't think you need to sit down for 90 minutes at Mar-a-Lago and kiss his ring to be able to speak truth and to be able to cover a story. So maybe they're not journalists in the true sense. Maybe they're saying that they're opinion general.
I think that's actually being a journalist for a change instead of just Trump bashing the whole time.
Journalists, but we have to remember that Trump is the guy who ushered in the era of fake news.
Greg, when you woke up this morning and you saw this, what did you think?
Well, first I have to be really quiet because I can't wake up Kudlow. But number one, Sonny is a coward. She's saying, I prefer to be far, far away and lob bombs than actually talk to somebody. I feel like, I love this story, that I should greet this reversal with the best intentions. They've seen the light. They've changed their minds. Remember, J.D. Vance had negative views on Donald Trump, and now he's his VP. So there is chance for redemption, and it should be welcome. And the Republican Party has evolved because of this. The people who never thought they were going to be in the Republican Party, Musk, RFK, Trump, Rogan, they're all Trump, all Democrats. So we benefit from this. Now I'm back to reality. Morning Joe is hemorrhaging viewers. It appears that the network is for sale and you can't sell it in its current state. You can't just throw a fresh coat of paint on this turd. This move was a survival for the show and a survival for them. They had no options. If you noticed, they did not admit that they were lying. They didn't admit that they were contributing to the demonization hysteria that caused many, many bad things, including, of course, their present-day humiliation.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page.
Exactly. Saving their ass. That's exactly what I was saying. So, yeah, that's exactly what they were doing. So, hey, you know what? It is what it is, but it's so easy to see. All right, and that's what all these networks are doing right now is they're in the save their ass mode because if they don't want to get cut, they got to change their vibe, and maybe actually warm up to the president for the change because the last 4 years obviously didn't do shit for nobody. So we're in some crucial times right now, and we're going to see if change, all right, great American change is going to happen. And it's all going to start with deportation of illegals, all right, and can't wait to see that happen. But I just wanted to share that with you guys that what Joe and Mika did was oh man, it's so earth shattering, right? Is it, or is it just something that they just really got to do in order to save themselves? I mean, the whole point of it is that, let's see, accelerator passion fruit. That sounds pretty good, actually. But yeah, so a lot of these people are just trying to save ass right now because, hey, you know what? You could get faded away, or you run with, the vibe of what's present, all right? So, yeah, so this is where it's at. Check it out. Give me your opinion. Let me know what you think. Yeah, soft on crime, New York, right here. Look at that. 3 stabs, 2 fatally, and Manhattan rampage. Suspect in custody. Yeah. Bet you what are they going to do? They're going to be like, you know, they're going to have what, no bail? What is this guy doing? 51-year-old Ramon Rivera. His third person died. He's walking around carrying knives in his backpack. Soft on crime, New York. Man, he's a mess too. Oh yeah, and of course, Kamala for governor. I brought that up the other day. Kamala for governor because Gavin Newsom is going to be termed out in 2026, and Kamala is going to need something to do because she's no longer in the so-called limelight in the picture. So what better way to go back and be in charge of something than to be governor of California, right? I hope not. I hope you guys are not dumb enough to take her and don't be like, oh, but she was the vice president. Come on, man. We all saw how dumb she is. All right. So I just wanted to throw that out there as well, since I saw that there. Maybe we'll talk about that in another video. Other than that, hey, you know what? People are waking up, alright? So, that's all I gotta say. Subscribe, hit the bell icon. Thanks, I'll see you next one.